I've been promising it. Here it is, a quick walk around. You know I'm not one for the walk around. I'm all about the action. I want to be back out there, but you've got to take the time and get your rig ready. And since I'm getting ready, I figured I'd show you what I've got. So let's just start right here with these tires. These things have been phenomenal. They're mud tires that actually sling mud. And are actually fairly quiet down the road. They've been great. They seem to get a ton of mileage out of them. I'm still working on this. I'm not even a quarter of the way through their life yet. So I'll keep you posted on that. But these STT Pros are phenomenal. I will always buy a Cooper tire. I honestly didn't want to buy these to start with, but I can't imagine owning another tire at this point. We have got some history together, and you're getting to see that on TV, so go ahead, subscribe right now so that you can see these things in action, because this channel isn't about just talking about gear. It's about getting out there. This is driving me crazy to be sitting here stationary, but I want to let you know what I'm running with. So I've got 37-inch shoes on this thing. I'm running the 17-inch black Rhino wheels that honestly just look good with the paint color, but they've been great on the trail. I have no issues with them whatsoever. Everyone always asks me about the snorkel. I've got my Rugged Ridge snorkel. I love having the particle separator on top. No, it's not a blender. And I can go into more detail in another video about this. This is just to give you the overall of my vehicle. But this keeps us running in the water and down dusty trails. If we come around to the front, I got this thing straight out of the factory with a steel bumper. Yes, there's other bumpers that look cooler, there's other hoods that look cool, but I really just wanted function first, and then I'll worry about that other stuff as time comes. But the most valuable thing that I have put on this vehicle has probably been one of the less expensive in comparison. I went with a Harbor Freight Badlands Apex wireless winch with the synthetic line. And this thing, I'm telling you, Badlands, if you're listening, one of the big attractions is the price. Don't change it. You're gonna put some other companies out of business, and we know who your main competitor is. We've seen that based on the way you design this. And I've run them side by side with that competitor, and I'm telling you, this one doesn't drag your battery into the ground. You can count on this. I have winched myself out of the woods, tree by tree, for incredible distances. I have winched with this thing, pulling another vehicle up the side of a stinking mountain for hours. Yes, I was resting it for its duty cycle, but guys, this thing is phenomenal. Look at my steel bumper. It's bent. I had to do exactly what you're not supposed to do and do a 90-degree pull, maybe slightly better, maybe more like 95 degrees to get myself out of a swamp. The steel bumper said I'm ready to quit. The winch, it's going strong. Y'all, I've had water on this vehicle up to here. My winch is still running strong. We've dragged the cable across the ground, not because we wanted to, but out of necessity. And it's holding up. Of course, I gotta check it, we'll check it. We're not gonna be reckless. But guys, I have never been so confident in a piece of equipment. And I used to jump out of planes for a living. Let that settle in. Again, my good old mud tires that have been so good to me. I told you I snorkeled the engine. But what's more important than the engine itself, because most people aren't in water deep enough, is to snorkel your diffs. So, if you were to get under this vehicle, my differentials, where you have that breather, that one-way breather valve, I've turned that into a two-way valve, but put it in a safe place. And I've run that all the way under the vehicle, and it's actually protected inside of here. It's an ARB Snorkel Kit. You can snorkel your transmission, you can snorkel your differentials, and these are actually really important things to go ahead and snorkel. Usually it's more important than snorkeling your engine, because most of you ain't getting deep enough, and that's okay. Most of you don't live in a place where there's that much water to drive into. Down here I don't have an option, but all of you are dipping the bottom end in some cool water. And when you've been running down the trail all day and you put that hot piece of metal into cool water, you're really, really tempting those seals to quit on you. Snorkel it and don't worry anymore. What else have we done to this thing? Well, we can't forget our good old rack. It's a love-hate relationship. The rack itself the design, the concept is really cool. I have put a lot of beating on this thing, but it's also been a really limiting factor for me because this thing is stinking heavy, and it doesn't really need to be that heavy. These bolts, I've replaced them. This particular company has been easy to get a hold of, easy to talk to real people, and they actually seem to want to help you, but I'm telling you, I've got problems that time after time still being problems. The issues are not getting addressed fully, and that's something to consider. Listen, I don't get sponsored by anybody, y'all. I want to buy this rack system again for the next vehicle, or recommend it to somebody, and the company's close. But for us Floridians, any of you that are wheeling in the swamp or wet conditions, or really not ready to spend a lot of money on a suspension and are actually carrying gear with you when you go out, well, then you need to look at a different system than what I'm running. If you're doing what I'm doing and you're okay with some of those limitations, all right, sign up. This thing's beautiful. Part of the rack system's been really cool though, because I'm able to slide my table in here. I'm able to go ahead and mount all my gear that I'm getting to readily. I mean, it's a Gladiator, guys. It's not a big bed. Every inch counts. But when I stack my boxes, I'm not worried about stuff falling out. It really actually increases my space by quite a bit. But it decreases my payload significantly. Guys, this thing is already maxed out with a couple of grown men in it. If you haven't looked at the numbers, don't think that it's all that when it comes to payload. You've got to do some work to your vehicle to get it there. And so what I started with was a 2.5-inch Fox suspension lift. And I mean, it's a lift. I got 37s on there without much problem, but it's not really designed for going down the trails as fast as I do. It's not really designed for the amount of weight that we're carrying. So we're in search. We're looking at some really cool brands, some really cool setups, trying to figure out what's going to work best for us and continue to get us into exciting situations for your entertainment. Really, it's for mine, but you get to live vicariously. What you don't see is my rooftop tent. You guys will see that in plenty of videos, and guys, that company has been great. It depends on what you're getting into and what you're trying to do. But honestly, I've got nothing bad to say about my Roofnest. It's not on here right now because the one I'm running is 160 pounds. I just came back from the mountains. I wasn't sure how much articulation I was going to be getting into, and I didn't feel like having my center of gravity that much higher when I'm on crazy mountainsides. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Being able to communicate on the trail is essential. So if you look back here, you can see that I've got an antenna hidden back there. And that is for my MGRS radio. I'm running a Midland radio. The thing has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm getting more distance than I would have expected. I also run their handhelds. This allows us to talk in convoys when we got to send a recon vehicle ahead, or when someone just needs to keep going down the trail because momentum is their friend at this point. You can let them get out of your sight. You can keep a safe, fun thing going by maintaining that communication. It's so important. It stops people from getting their legs cut off. It stops people from losing equipment. All of that stuff can be managed so well by having communication, and Midland has been phenomenal for that. It's an upgrade that I would strongly recommend. And it's not about looking cool. As you can see, I hide it. What else are we looking at? Guys, it's a Jeep Gladiator. It's a 2020 Rubicon, and it was made to go down the trail.
Yeah! Come on, come on, come on!